In this video, I'm gonna share 8 types of roofing contractors for the homeowners. Consider it the roofing contractors guide for the homeowners. If you're the homeowner and you're about to hire a contractor, I promise you, you wanna watch this video all the way to the end because there's a lot of companies. There's small guys, there's big guys, there's equity firms, there's franchises. You might be very confused why the price is so different, why some guys are organized, door knock at your house and very aggressive, and other guys are very nice. I identified 8 types of roofing contractors and I ranked them from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best by type on 4 factors. How risky is it to hire that type of the contractor? How pricey that type of contractor is going to be? What kind of customer service you can expect from that type of the contractor, and will you have leverage if something goes wrong? Because let's face it, it's not about their marketing promise and what they're promising you during the sales process, but it's about problem resolutions, dispute resolutions at the end. Problems do happen. 1 in 10 jobs usually end up in some kind of disputes. As a matter of fact, roofers lead the way of consumer complaints on sites like Better Business Bureau and in the lawsuits among all construction trades. It's a big item for you. You're about to spend a lot of money. It's worth a few minutes to watch the video to identify those contractors. First one on my list is a paper contractor. Paper contractor is a contractor who does not have skin in the game. Oftentimes, this type will not have even the office. Often they work from homes, they don't have employees, they will have LLC. On paper, there are roofers, there are contractors, so they will have a company, the logo, they'll give you the paperwork. But if you ask them, where's your office? If you ask them, do you have employees? If you ask them if they have, why they don't have online reviews, things like that, usually it's very small player. Usually they sell a job and then they go and find someone to do the job. Usually it's one owner operator. Sometimes they might have few salespeople. I would say it's hit and miss when it comes to quality. It's a hit and miss with the complaints. I would stay away from paper contractors because risk factor is pretty high. Nothing stops this guy to close his company today in case of bad jobs, bad reputation, and start new business tomorrow. It happens all the time. We see tons of paper contractors change names every couple of years once they've been sued, once they filed bankruptcy, or they have a couple jobs that went terribly wrong and they have bad reputation, horrible online reviews. They just close the shop and start a new one. Next type is one of my favorite type of roofing businesses, small business owners, $3 to $10 million. Usually they don't have tons of capital to invest in the heavy marketing. You're not gonna hear a lot about them on the radio or on TV. They're just too small to do big type of advertising. You'll see maybe some billboards, you'll see some commercials, maybe Google ads, you'll see good website. These guys are usually pretty hungry. They will have a team, they will have certifications, they'll go to different trainings, they'll have great relationships with their manufacturers, they will manage their reputations pretty well because $3 to $10 million business, you have to sustain the reputation. They're not going to be able to grow if they have bad reviews. So you can expect good customer service. It's not very risky to hire them. That's why it's 8 out of 10. It's one of the best sizes if you ask me because you will have good customer service. Business owner usually going to be involved in that business. You're also going to have a leverage. If something goes wrong, they're not going to ruin their reputation to neglect or ghost you. They will try to make it right, and very good size. Of course, do your due diligence. You know, it's not just about the size. You can ask them, you know, how many people they have on the team. Usually 3 to 10 million company will have 3 to 8 sales reps. They will have a couple crews, they'll have managers, they'll have employees, they will have office. This is almost impossible to run from home. You can ask those questions to understand what kind of business they have. Next on my list is subcontractors. I give them 6. So subcontractors is someone who works for another company. You can find them on the Craigslist. You can go to the job sites and ask for the business cards. Subcontractor on paper is a roofer just like any other roofing contractor. They'll have the same LLC, the same license. So on paper, they're identical to the companies who give them work. So they might be working for builders, they might be working for bigger roofing companies, but you want to save money. A lot of homeowners do it. If you go on Craigslist, you're probably going to find a subcontractor or someone small who's just trying to find a side job, and instead of working for a contractor, they're trying to go direct to the consumer. What you're gonna have here is a great price. You will save money, but if something goes wrong, you're probably not gonna have leverage. You're probably not gonna be able to find them, make them liable or accountable, and make them to come back. Why? Because if they don't return your phone calls, subcontractors not gonna maintain online reputation. They don't care. They might change their phone number tomorrow. Nobody cares. They're not in business to serve homeowners or to maintain a reputation or to scale their business. They're B2B company. They probably have plenty of jobs from big accounts. If you gave them a job, hopefully it will go well. Sometimes it will. I mean, you have to do due diligence. Sometimes I recommend if you hire a subcontractor, be present on a job. Make sure that what they do, you see and you like. Because if you hire a sub and you just leave for a day and you come back, you don't know if they did not do something what they're supposed to do. Very dangerous game. So subcontractors need to be managed by managers, by someone who will have leverage over them. Don't pay them until you absolutely love the job. Usually I hear pretty bad stories about subs. One of my best friends hired someone off Craigslist. He had to redo it twice because they did a horrible job. He did not want to pay them, and on top of everything, a lot of the times you'll have nasty disputes with them. Next one on my list is big equity players. It's a company who has 100 million plus in assets. We see a lot of companies buying, private equity companies buying, roofing companies left and right. It's actually a big movement in the roofing industry today. You'll see flash advertising, you'll see big wrap trucks, many of them. So these companies can buy billboards, they can buy TV ads, they can wrap 30 vehicle wraps tomorrow. So you will see these players. They're gonna have money to invest in their businesses, they'll have leverage, they'll be able to take care of their teams. You will have leverage if something goes wrong, because usually management will deal with the reputation. They can write a check if someone messed up, but you can expect a little bit less of customer service. Usually when company goes too big, bureaucracy adds up, so you don't have the same customer service as a mom and pop shops, as an owner operator would give you, because there's going to be multiple layers, multiple managers, right? But at least if you knock at enough doors, make enough calls, you will be able to find someone to complain about when something goes wrong. So what I like about equity players, they do have money, they do take care of the customers. Customer service is not always the best. A lot of times it's the subcontractors who are doing the work, because it's all about money, it's all about growing and selling to another company. And also you're probably going to be paying premium price if you hire equity player in your market. Next one on my list is franchises. This one, I'm not a big fan of it for a few reasons. So franchises is, big umbrella, big organization, big name, who lets other companies buy into, pay them a royalty fee, but also buy into the brand. We actually recently have seen few pretty bad stories. One of them, Honest Abe Roofing in Florida. One of the branches filed bankruptcy. I did a couple stories on Roofing Insights channel. Another one was Mighty Dog Roofing. We've been getting a lot of complaints. Another one was Shingle Magic. Overall, the problem with the franchises, unlike equity players, completely different model. Equity players have money. They invest money in small businesses when they buy them, and small companies have cash to spend. Opposite in franchise model. So if you're in a franchise in the roofing business, I'll give you one scenario from one franchise. You have to spend $200,000 upfront to buy in to use that name. What it does to your cash flow? Not much. You're out of money, right? Now, on top of that, they ask them to spend 7% of gross sales goes to that name. Roofing business usually brings about 10 to 15% net profit. So franchise will take half of those profits. That's in a good year. That's in a perfect world. But imagine if you're only doing 10% net per year and franchise is taking 7% of it. Franchises, owners, people who buy in still have to advertise, still have to run expenses, still have very expensive overhead. So they have a name in a very competitive market and very competitive industry, but they have all the expenses. Not a big fan of it. And if something goes wrong, usually franchisee and what we see, the parent organization is not liable for the bankruptcy of the local chapter, if you will. So I don't see how franchises are very good for the homeowners. Yes, you are buying in a big name, but you're still dealing with a local shop, and that local shop being taxed by the big organizations. If you ask me, it's 6 out of 10. You do have better options, and you probably by this time is asking yourself, well, if I'm a homeowner, how do I know all of this? How do I know, who is equity player, who is a franchise? Well, you can check all of this information on directory.com. Directory.com does list pretty much all 8 players, and I have 3 more to share with you, but directory.com backs them all up. It doesn't matter if it's franchise player, equity player. If you find a roofer on directory.com, it means that that company, that organization, that local player, maybe one of the franchisees applied and got qualified. It means they pass background check, they pass credit check. If something goes wrong, you have the leverage because directory.com will write you a check for up to $250,000 if something goes wrong, including if that company will file bankruptcy. That goes to subcontractors, small business owners, paper contractors, equity player, franchises. Directory.com is the only platform in the marketplace that backs any recommendation. It's not lead generation company, it's a recommendation company. It's essentially your homeowner's insurance in case something goes wrong. Now I have 3 more types of roofers to share with you. Number 6 is the storm chasers. The lowest score on the entire board gonna be today. Nobody scored less than 5 in my book. So out of 8 types, storm chasers is the lowest, but let's identify storm chaser. It's not someone who just does insurance work. So there's a lot of good contractors who are insurance companies. Storm chaser is a contractor who travels to the area where he did not have office before just to work that area, that storm, that hailstorm, that windstorm, to work. It's a quick money grab for a lot of contractors. The reason I hate this business model, it's very, very expensive. They have to stay in hotels, overhead grows very, very fast. It's a temporary, so it's a money grab for the contractors. The contractors usually come in 3, 4, 6 months, maybe a year, depending on the size of the storm, and then later they pull out. One of the problems with this model is they don't often bring their crews, so they have to rely on local guys. So pretty much their sales and marketing organizations coming in. This is the most hated group in the entire roofing industry among roofers because they were not there before. So they come in, sell a whole bunch of jobs, and then pull out. So warranties often at question. Local labor usually getting disrupted because they start bidding worse for local crews because they're not bringing entire companies, they're not bringing 10 crews. I've seen scenarios when 10 salespeople just travel to the city, sells $5-10 million worth of work, and then leave someone behind to produce that work. So most disputes happen here, most bankruptcies happen here. This is the riskiest contractor to hire for the homeowner, someone who've never been in that market. It's very tiring, it's very exhausting for the contractors as well. So overall, as a business itself is the riskiest business. Can they do good work? Absolutely, but you have to do your due diligence. Make sure you do background check on the owner, see how long they've been in business, what kind of company they are. Is it, company have been in business for 20 years or 2 years? So every storm chaser is gonna be a little bit different, but in my book, it's 5 when we compare to other business types. Number 7, small owner operator. I personally like this type, but I do feel bad for this type. As a matter of fact, I teach in roofing school and I help a lot of small owner operators. This type is the one who does it all. So he probably gonna have an office, but he will have hard time to delegate to grow their business. There's a lot of guys in this category. He might be in business for 10, 15 years, but he still will be the one answer the phone call, do the estimate, manage the job. It's not the bad type. That's why it's 7. If you look at the equity players, they're 8. So it's a good option, but it's a little bit risky, and customer service oftentimes will be mediocre, because when you do it all, you will drop the ball. Sooner or later, you'll get sick. Sooner or later, you'll have too many jobs to chew on, and you will have homeowners left behind or hanging in there because you just cannot do all the jobs. So it's not a bad type. Usually it's the guys who really like quality and who thinks that no one else can do their jobs. That's why they cannot delegate, they cannot hire people. They're kind of perfectionist. So it's good from quality perspective, but oftentimes they underestimate or they have hard time to understand customer service. They think that their job is what's happening on the roof. So it's not as important for them to send invoice on time. It's not as important to answer phone calls or to hire a receptionist. So there's a lot of guys here. Owner operator though, if you find a good one, go for it. I recommend them. Directory.com has plenty of owner operators, but in my book, it's 7. There's definitely a few other options, but again, maybe you're in a small town and you only have few owner operators, so you have to choose between them. Not a bad option. And the last one on my list, number 8, is a market leader. Market leader, 9 points. Nobody scored 10 because everyone fails. I've seen market leaders fails. I've seen equity players go south. I've seen franchises, storm chasers, small business owners. We all have problems. We all need someone to back us up. And if you're the homeowner, you're never 100% safe. That's why we created Directory.com. But let's talk about market leader. Market leader is a contractor who's been around for 20, 30 years. It's a huge company. Everybody knows them. They have awesome reviews. You go to the stadium, you see them. You see billboards. You hear them on the radio. Your neighbors probably have done business with them. You're probably gonna pay a little bit more and wait a little bit more for them to get to you. So price is gonna be a little bit higher. Customer service probably gonna be decent, because if you've done something for 30, 40 years, I mean, you figured a lot of things out and you're probably doing a lot of things right. So I absolutely love market leaders. Market leader is a company for someone who does not look at the price tag, who just want a job done right. Problem resolutions and leverage obviously there, because if something goes wrong, I mean, they don't want to ruin their reputation and they're going to fix it. They're going to have someone else to fix it. But again, even market leaders have 1-star reviews and nightmare experiences. Construction is tough. And this is my final statement here. Construction is tough. Roofing is tough. Even best contractors make mistakes, and sometimes crews open roofs during the rainy day. Weather is unpredictable. We're doing with the claim right now in Houston. Houston have this weird weather where sometimes on a beautiful clear day, you can have a patch just rain in one neighborhood over like 10 houses. It's actually happened a couple of weeks ago with one of the roofers we recommended. Unpredictable weather can have unpredictable problems on the roofing contractors. On top of that, we have weather, we have incidents, people fall off their safety issues. I mean, material failures. There's so much to go in a roofing. You want to be educated consumer. That's why we do what we do at Roofing Insights. We educate you on who makes the best materials. We educate you on how to interview contractors. We even recommend contractors. So if you need our help, I'm gonna put my information below. I don't give better recommendations, I promise you. And if I do, I'll write you a check personally. I have over 500 roofers on my list today, and I stand behind every single one of them. If you want to see my list, comment below or go to directory.com or download it at App Store. It's a free app for the homeowners. And if you're the contractor, want to be listed on our recommendation list, apply within. Comment below, what do you think about my 8 types? Do you agree with me? Or maybe you don't agree with me. Who would you put number 1? In your opinion, if a roofer watching it, because I know a lot of them do, comment below, in your opinion, who is the best type contractor? I read all of my comments and I reply to every single one of them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.